I don't want Wagner getting blocked at the rim. Banchero just made a three. Wow.
That's true. That's true.
Wow. I mean, either way. I mean, I don't know. Is Wagner having a good game? Comments going to have to let me know. I've only watched the fourth quarter.
I don't believe in I hear you. He hit the shot. It doesn't matter.
3 for 11, Franz Wagner. Banchero 13 for 23. Yeah, that's a bad play. You got to pass the ball.
He had the angle.
Wow, I didn't know Banchero had 36. Oh, well, they're young. They'll be okay. But that's tough.
Yeah. Not my problem. I got my own problems. I got young players who wish they could be in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was good handle by Wagner. That's for sure. Good block, but Cleveland needs that, though. They needed more than Hernando needs it. I'll tell you that. That's pretty. Wait, is that the comments are right? Is that Markieff Morris? That's Marcus Morris. My goodness. That's embarrassing.
Best block in Cavs history. That's a fact. That is a fact. If you're watching on YouTube, come over to playback. We'll give you the pass. Seriously? Oh. I did not know Paulo could shoot like that.
I don't think he can, right? But hey, this was the game.
No.
39 points. Good for him.
Impressive for sure.
34% from three. Although I guess Wagner's third, and he's even worse. Wow. Magic need Clay. That's what they need. Clay would have.
Magic do need Clay. They need his 0 for 10s.
The Magic have Gary Harris 0 for 3. Well, Gary Harris only played 19 minutes.
They don't have any shooters. Period.
Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac made a 3.
They got players. They do not have shooters.
Joe Ingles, Suggs went 0 for 5. Wagner 1 for 6. And wow, that is a
lot of. They're really trying to ugly the game up. That's all they got, right?
Ooh, Eastern Conference basketball, baby. It's like the Knicks, except the Knicks they have Brunson at least. I missed the end. I had to go rewatch the last 5 minutes of the Knicks game. I know we're not going to talk about that one, but man, what a choke job.
Yeah, that's destined to go 7. Joel Embiid comes up with a new injury every game. I mean, he's held together by Scotch tape right now.
Kind of feel bad for him, but then I'm like, he's always whining about stuff, about not getting awards, and I don't know.
I will not slander him. The dude has Bell's palsy right now. Like, he can't move half his face. His legs messed up. Like, everything's broken with him. But yeah, not my favorite player in the league.
Kind of like an AD, kind of like another AD, except better. Better? Yeah.
You know what's funny about Embiid is at some point in the last 2 years, he just became automatic inside of 15 feet. Like, all those like little short middies are just layups basically whenever, right? And I don't know how you guard him because he'll get the ball at 12 feet and then he's just going to make it every time.
Guard himself. You know, he's going to flop it into someone and get hurt.
That's true. But
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, what you're saying. That's why he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. We're not doing that.
Nah.
We got bigger fish to fry tonight.
We do. We got a lot of stuff to go. Let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. We got some fun stuff for everyone tonight. Presented by Prize Picks. Promo code Lightyears, $100 match on your first deposit. Welcome to Lightyears. And by the way, if you are watching on YouTube, hit subscribe and come over to playback. If you're watching live, you can get in on this. We're going to take live callers. We're going to get you guys takes at the end of it. But Andy Lou, I think it's officially I'm officially kind of feeling the Warriors not in the playoffs. I'm a little bummed. Bummed that they're not in. That Knicks Sixers game was just peak Eastern. It was just peak basketball, peak playoffs. It was ugly, but it's what you live for. They were killing themselves out there. That sort of thing made me a little sad.
Well, I think the Knicks and Sixers are playing a series where I think both teams don't like each other. And it does remind you of the Warriors, where it feels like every postseason the Warriors are in, they play a team that doesn't like them, or vice versa. So, I think that's what's missing, right? Every year, do we have to do the Warriors every? Sabonis last year. Then you got the Grizzlies a couple of years ago. You got every season there's someone that there's high drama with, and I don't know. You watch the Knicks and Sixers. You talk about classic Eastern Conference basketball. I don't know if they hate each other. Josh Hart, Brunson.
But it's getting there.
Maxey. Yeah, right. It feels like there's gonna be a fight soon. If not, they're not already fighting each other.
And isn't that the fun of a playoff series where you're kind of even? The longer it goes, the more you're like, fuck this guy. I'm a little tired of him elbowing me on every screen. I'm a little tired of him leaning on my back every time I try to get a rebound. You get a little fed up when you play the same team over. It's human nature for competitive.
I kind of wish that would have happened a little more. The Lakers Nuggets, I felt like, I don't know, they respect each other a lot. Those are harder to do because it's LeBron and Jokic who are the two best players versus Knicks Sixers. I feel like it's more like role player hate versus it's not LeBron's gonna get into a fight. Yeah, it's goons.
Draymond versus Draymond.
Those are goon players, it's more fun. Yeah. But I kind of wish that would happen. I thought Anthony Edwards and Devin Booker a little bit. That was cool. So I'm with it. Makes me miss the Warriors. It does, and it makes us we're talking about LeBron, but in different ways that we would during playoff season. It's a different way of talking LeBron. I kind of miss talking about Warriors versus LeBron. It's more fun.
But I will say, to your point, nice segue, by the way. Well done. Going into the playoffs, I think we talked about it on the pod. The hope was teams who have players who could potentially leave in free agency, trade, whatever it may be, lose early to open up options for the Warriors. Look, they didn't make the playoffs. They're not good enough. They're not going to make the playoffs next year by internal improvement. It's going to have to come from trade, free agent, some external force. And I would say, so far things are playing well for the Warriors right now. Old friend Kevin swept round one. Brandon Ingram, who's been an off and on trade target, and there's been this kind of noise that the Pelicans may not keep him. That was a terrible series for them. David Griffin came out today and was like, I don't really need to see more. We need to make changes, basically that sort of thing. And then, LeBron letting everyone know that he's not committed to the Lakers. And I'm not saying those are the only three guys that may come available, but it's a very nice starting point.
Yeah, it is. And that's only after the first round of the postseason. Now
we're not even done with the first round.
Yeah. We just watched the Cavs, barely go up 3-2 against the Magic. We'll see what happens in that series, but I imagine those are going to be the biggest and best guys that are going to come available, which is kind of how the NBA is nowadays, right? Those are the three best guys. It is funny that you're sandwiching Ingram between LeBron and KD because there's a stark difference between the two. But hey, I watched KD against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm, we're going to talk about it later in the show, Sam, but I got some takes about what KD looked like because LeBron still looks friggin' amazing to me. It looks like he could still be the best player in the playoff series. I'm watching KD. I'm like,
Balco.
No, it's amazing. It is truly amazing. But
Yeah.
KD, no, not really. Not really. I'm watching him. I'm like, are you even a top 10 player in the NBA right now? It's just serious question marks. Now it doesn't matter if the Warriors have a shot there. Obviously you take him, but he just didn't look great. Just didn't look great.
Going to be aggregated. Andy Lou questions: is KD still again. A top 10 player?
We're back again. I just don't know.
The text and DMs will be lit up. What did Andy say?
It's been 5 years, Kevin. Go. It's just not a good. And part of it is Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards looking amazing, but you just watch LeBron and you're still amazed. He obviously ran out of gas. It's the easy one, but man, I mean, hey, at least he's not looking like Ingram. But it's still guys better than what the Warriors have.
So I feel like there's two categories of players. There's the old dudes who used to be superstars, and the question is more like, well, they're old. How much do they got left? Kind of the Steph questions in some ways, right? Like, no one's going to question LeBron or KD's career, like first ballot, that sort of thing. Or it's the younger dudes who will never be as good as those guys in their prime. But Ingram's 26, and going into this offseason period, I was more focused on the latter. I was more focused on like what guy between 25 and 30 can shake free to, replace Wiggins, Clay, whatever it may be, as kind of that number 2 option. And now I don't know, maybe it's the name cachet of it, but now I'm like, honestly, I'm not convinced the other route's not the best way to go. I'm not convinced when you look at it from this perspective. Steph has 2 years left on his contract. Steve Kerr upped for 2 years. Draymond has 3 years, but whatever. How much of this should just be about like, let's just make the next 2 years cool? Because end of the day, they're going to have to rebuild. If they were to acquire Brandon Ingram, it's not like they got 21-year-old Kawhi, like the Spurs, or like the next generation's here. When Steph's done, you're still going to have to rebuild if you have Ingram,
So,
you could say like Lowry Markkanen or someone like that. If you get them, like, will they help you win now? Yeah, but like when Steph's done, you're still kind of going to have to look at a rebuild solution, right?
Are you arguing that one's better than the other, or it doesn't matter either way? Like, as in one route is better than the other, or are you arguing it doesn't matter either way? Because I'd argue it doesn't matter either way. But
I think that's where I'm at. I think if you asked me in February, actually, I know, go back to listen to the old pods. I was kind of opposed to the idea of a LeBron or a KD in the sense of they're too old. What are we doing? And now I'm just like, man, it's not like you're acquiring 27-year-old KD. If you get Brandon Ingram, a good player, he would make the team better. I would be into it. But I don't know. Getting an older KD or LeBron might be a better move. And honestly, at worst, it's kind of negligible. We're not arguing about like 22-year-old Anthony Edwards on the verge of superstardom versus 39-year-old LeBron.
Because the only guy that fits that criteria of true superstar right now would only be Giannis, who they're about to. I mean, they're technically winning right now, but they're about to lose to the Pacers. And Joel Embiid, who, I mean, technically is still in his prime. You can argue how many years he has left as an elite NBA player because of injuries, but those are probably the two guys that are like true in their primes, mid-20s, kind of like what you're saying is the KD of the one that went to the Warriors. Because other than that, everybody else has got flaws, whether they be old or they're just not that guy.
Yeah.
Ingram, Lowry, like just never gonna be that guy. But yeah, it's like the options thing. The Warriors just only have so much. You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose because it just might be, for example, like Paul George, which you've brought up. I think you might have been the first and only person to bring up Paul George, who's not as good as LeBron and KD, but better than like Ingram and Lowry, but also as old as LeBron and KD. But it's there's flaws everywhere.
A little younger.
Still,
but point stands.
And if he's willing to come, you take him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like There's no talk to me when it's a choice between Ingram. Talk to me when it's a choice between Larry Markkinen and Paul George, and I'll give you my answer. Because I think that may be a harder question, but I don't think the Warriors are gonna get to choose between those two guys. Talk to me when it's a question between LeBron and KD, because that's a different story. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of the thing. Like, I don't want to get super optimistic, but they punted midseason. They could have acquired Pascal Siakam. Maybe they could have got DeJounte Murray.
He looks good.
Oh, he looks excellent.
Yes, he does.
They made a conscious choice that they liked their options in the offseason more than their options at the deadline. You know, maybe they couldn't have got him, but that's the way it looks to me. So that's where we're at right now. Now we're going to the offseason. Let's talk through it. And I want everyone to call in. I want to hear everyone's takes. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, but also join us on playback if you want to call in. We'll get to all your takes after Andy and I are done. So
every week, every offseason, all offseason, just every day, baby. Let's go. What we got first?
Let's start Ingram first. I thought he was the most likely scenario to come available, and terrible series for him. Zion goes down. He has to be the man. He looks terrible in the role. Like I can't pretend anything else. I'm going to play Griff here real quick.
Erred on the side of continuity, whereas in the past we've always erred on the side of continuity, and our takeaway has always been, let's see this group healthy. I think we've seen it enough. I think we had some really, really good opportunity to see Zion play a career high in games. I think we saw it for segments of time well enough to understand that we've got a lot of work to do. And again, because it is a historically good Western Conference, there's teams that didn't make the playoffs that are going to get radically better this offseason. We need to do the same.
Radically better. Wow.
Okay. That sounds like a dude who's like, Ingram, you're gone.
Yeah, well, it really does.
And CJ, you're gone too.
yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of the deal with them where it's
wow.
Zion's a superstar who can't stay healthy, but he is still a superstar. And they got the role players, but their number 2 and their number 3 is not there. Ingram's 1 year left on his contract, kind of like the Siakam situation, right? Where he's not good enough to be a number 1, but you could see him next to the Warriors. And maybe that's better. How would you feel if the Warriors got Ingram?
Okay, so I'd be interested in this one's interesting because I think they might want to leverage that into getting themselves another star. Like I'm curious to think what the package the Warriors would be that they would care about. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, is them getting Wiggins and Kuminga, like, does that move the needle for them in a couple picks? I don't know. Feels like they've got a couple picks themselves too.
Chris Paul coming home, baby.
Shoot, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But I feel like they've got some picks that they're not OKC, but they've got some picks that they could pack. I think I saw that they have like 5 in the next couple of years. Like, do they want to move that and get someone else? Like, are they the ones that are trying to get Paul George? Because that's a good fit. Are they the ones that want to get Giannis? That's because they've got more in the chest. But okay, to answer your question, because I've lagged long enough, I would be disgusted, Samuel, and then talk myself into it in like 30 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. I'll talk myself into it. It don't move me because he's just so he's a guy. He's another guy that shoots a lot of mid-range jumpers, a lot of hard shots, inefficient shots, can't really handle. Does he play defense? Yeah, exactly. So you're telling me you're getting another Wiggins, and I was the guy that was all out on Wiggins. Remember, I didn't even do that pod because I was in Japan. I was so pissed. I was like, dude, are you fucking serious? Now I ended up working out. They end up winning a championship. And then now it goes down the drain. And now you're going to trade another guy that's just like Wiggins. And you're praying that he has the same flash that Wiggins did for 2 seasons, which, I'll talk myself into it. I just don't know if the Warriors have the time to guess on that happening. Because then now you're pushing your chips in for a guy that has 1 year left. And then are you committing to him after that? Yeah, of course, the comments are saying I'll take the same result. Yeah, but the same result is something that's just, what is the percentage of that happening again? What was the percentage of Wiggins happening, of that happening? I mean, it's got to have been like, what, 10%, 5%? I don't know. Do you do that again? I'll talk myself into it. Yeah, I'll talk myself into it. If that's the only thing, yeah, let's do it. But
Let me give you the counter case.
right.
Unlike Andrew Wiggins, Brandon Ingram has made an all-star team without Steph Curry back screens. He immediately is the second best ball handling wing they've had in Steph's entire career. KD obviously number one.
Mm-hmm.
He can shoot the ball. He does like to take mid-range shots over threes, but Wiggins like to take mid-range shots over threes.
Yeah.
The difference between him and Wiggins is in New Orleans, he shoots 37.5%, 38% on threes. In Minnesota, Wiggins shot 32% on threes.
Right.
We're talking about a significantly higher level of offensive talent, not defensive talent, but offensive talent in terms of playmaking and natural shooting ability. And now you're putting him next to Steph. I mean, they spent the entire second part of last year, Steph setting screens for Kuminga and Wiggins to get them easy shots. What does that look like with a guy who can get a shot by himself? So I'm intrigued, but like at its core, I agree with you. You're still kind of getting a rehab. You're getting a guy who, for all his talents, he hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype. Like that's just the reality of it. I don't think he plays like a franchise player. I don't know if he is a franchise player. But he doesn't need to be one. I thought that was who the Warriors were going to have to choose, and I'm intrigued. Why would the Pelicans do it? I guess if Kuminga and a pick and something was attractive to them, then they could have honestly the Godfather offer to go get the star they want to get on top of it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe they add more picks, but like for them, it's like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, right? Like they're better than Kuminga, so it doesn't like they wouldn't want Kuminga. I wouldn't. And then they got Zion, right? It don't make
they want a
sense
point
for them.
guard.
Yeah. Right. Like there you go, exactly. So give them pods, right? So like does that work? But Pod's so young. Yeah, Pod's so young. Like why would they want a young guy like that? They're trying to win now. They've got a team that should win now. Honestly, like they're a really good team if Zion's not fat. So it's just it's an interesting one, but back to like even if it does happen, like this is probably the best that the Warriors end up with realistically, unless they want to eat contracts, right? Unless they want to eat Zach LaVine's contract, like then okay, then they could do that one. But like this is the one where it's like maybe they want 1 year. They're like we want Zach LaVine's 3 years, 500 mil. They're like, forget that. We don't want 3 years. We don't want that on the books, right? But Ingram 1 year, great. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's one way to get off Wiggins' contract or something like that. But then on the other hand, you're like, damn, are you trading Kuminga for 1 year and that doesn't work? And
I think if you trade him, you're hoping to keep him in general. But
that's
true.
I hear it's true.
But let's pay some bills real quick.
All right. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. As always, you just pick more or less on two or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100x your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Prize Picks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players get injured. For basketball games, if you have a player that exits in the first half and does not return in the second, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Download the app today. Use code LIGHTYEARS for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today. Use code LIGHTYEARS for a first deposit patch up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And the Light Years podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. They are obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals, and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section, and Game Time picks the seats for big-time savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and roll for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time today. Create an account. Use code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
If you want to call in, we're going to get to callers in 5 to 10 minutes. Just want to call out, join on playback. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe. But Andy Lou.
Here comes the fun.
LeBron James. You know, Woj went on NBA Today and said LeBron's probably going to resign with the Lakers. It's not a priority to play with Bronny anymore. Wants to get Bronny in the right development situation, which is the correct move. He's not ready to play in the NBA. It would be unfair to put him in that sort of situation. And, you know, that sort of thing. And so naturally, what does friend of the show, LeBron James, do? Takes to social media. And lets everyone know. I've heard a lot of reports about my future. I said it's last night. I'll say it again. I do not know yet, as I'm only thinking about spending time with my family and friends. When I know, I'll speak with my fam, my counsel, as well as my representation about it. Then you guys will know. Until then, love. And then, because he's our guy, threw up a nice little subtweet on Instagram. By the way,
Dude, it's hilarious.
About Christopher Nolan, I'm plagued by the line from The Dark Knight. You either die the hero or you live long enough to be the villain. I think you and I are united on this one. Dark Knight, best comic movie of all time.
Yeah. People disagree sometimes. I think they just want to be cute, but there's nothing better than Dark Knight. There really isn't. How does this quote work for LeBron? Explain to me. How does this quote work for LeBron?
LeBron knows. LeBron knows when he teams up with Steph, this is what's going to happen. People are going to be like, People are going to be like, you know, it's time. It's like it's like when Harvey Dent became Two-Face and joined the Joker. Yeah. That's what's going on right now. That's the foreshadowing we are getting right now.
The only way to read this. That's the only way to read this. So I might watch Dark Knight again tonight. You got me locked in. Two-Face Braun.
It's so good. It's so good. And you know, we had our guy Jason Dumas on last episode. He said 25% chance of the Warriors. Look, I'm not operating with the idea that it's a heavy favorite. But if LeBron was to leave the Lakers, do you believe any other team is in play? Like he's not going to the Knicks. I'm sorry. He's not going to have Tibbs yell at him to fucking box out with Deuce McBride and Josh Hart.
Is he going to the Clippers?
No. I don't think he's leaving California.
Well, if he's not leaving California, then he's not. I mean, is he going to the Kings? You think LeBron's going to Sacramento? You think he's living in Elk Grove? What's a nice area in Sac? What's like the really nice suburban? I only know Elk Grove. But like, yeah. I mean, I'd imagine the Warriors would be the only one if you're telling me he's not leaving California. He's going back to Miami. That's another one. Maybe he's going to do that. Could be a cool storyline. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me, of course, I'm all in on the LeBron Warrior stuff. Only one that doesn't make sense to me is what is the storyline there for the Warriors? Because you know LeBron. I mean, it's why he posts this. He's always trying to make a movie. He thinks he's the main character in the movie. He thinks he's he is
the main character.
He is. I mean, always right. He thinks he's a Killian Murphy. You know, that's what he thinks. He's the director. You know, he's that guy. So what is the narrative going back to going to the Warriors? Is it the only one that makes sense would be he gets to play with Steph. Like that was his rival. That's been the second guy behind him, right? In his era, that's how he's going to paint this. In his era for the last 10 years, they've battled each other. Steph has won 3 times. LeBron has won 1 time. I'm sure LeBron will count the playing game in the second round. So I'm sure he'll count that. But like he'll probably paint it as
count the game in the preseason in Vegas too.
He'll count whatever he needs to make it so that he's winning.
Palm Springs. Yeah.
But I'd imagine that would be the move for him to say, all right, I get to play with Steph, because where is he going that he's going to have a better chance to win than he is playing with Anthony Davis? Is it the Warriors? Is that what you're going to try to sell me on here? Is it the Warriors? Like logistically?
I think you can also hear me out on this one. Everyone's talking about how it's a new era. First time Steph, LeBron, KD, one of them won't be in the second round of the playoffs in 20 years. It's a new day. This is Ant Edwards' league. Ant Edwards versus Jason Tatum versus Jokic versus Jan. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's officially over. And I think we're all cognizant of the fact they're older. Like, I thought LeBron looked phenomenal against Denver, but he also is not as good as Jokic anymore. He's not 2016 LeBron. And I think you say the same thing about Steph. Much as I love him, as amazing as he looks in general,
he was gassed. Yeah.
He's not the what if the old guys are like, you know what?
I think I'm sold.
Old man Avengers.
I think I'm sold. It's no. This is the Expendables. Actually, I don't know.
Does he want to play with more young players who want to talk about Gen Z shit? No. Do you think Steph wants to play with Brandon Ingram? Do you think Steph wants to play with Lowry Markkanen? No disrespect to either of them. Steph's a decade older than those dudes.
Wow. I agree.
And I think they can kind of come into it with the attitude of, you know what? We're made men. Nothing we can do is going to change anyone's perception of us. LeBron is already a Mount Rushmore player. Steph is also a Mount Rushmore player. Like, they're not like hanging on for dear life. They need to win one for their legacy. At this point, they're just having fun, And what would be fun would be them teaming up together one last time, biggest rivals being like, you know what? The kids are good, but they're not as good as us.
Yeah,
we can get it done one more time.
Okay.
And then I'm looking from Joe Lacob's perspective. Joe Lacob obviously wanted to do his 2-timeline thing. It failed spectacularly. Very spectacularly. So we all know when Steph retires, they're going to have to rebuild anyway. Fuck it. Might as well, go all in, enjoy the end of Steph's era, because you're going to be in the lottery no matter what he retires.
Look, if you're Joe Lacob, I mean, Chase is
you about to make
selling
you
the
about
fuck
to,
out. Yeah.
You about to pay for the rebuild for 2 years if you got LeBron and Steph
exactly.
together.
Because you're doing Steph and LeBron's farewell tour. Are you kidding me? With the bus you're putting in the seats there, and which is not even, that's on a daily basis, and not even to mention that let's say they make the second round of the postseason, the money that comes with it. So, per the cap, they can't pay more than what they're paying right now. I mean, technically they can, but it's like, I'm sure they're not going to next season.
And that's why it's not going to happen, because for it to happen, these are the things that would need to happen.
All right, talk to me.
He would need to opt in.
Okay.
The Lakers would have to agree to a trade. And then the Lakers would have to be like, yes, we want Chris Paul's expiring contract, Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga, and a pick. So they would be doing it out of the kindness of their heart for a bunch of stuff to have the ability to make the superstar trade next. Because then they do Chris Paul's contract with all the picks and Kuminga to go get, I'm assuming they have higher aspirations than Trae Young, but you know what I'm saying? Go out and get that younger star they want to pair with Anthony Davis to build something else. And I just don't think the amount of buts I have to say, and then they would do this, but they would do it for that's just, it's unrealistic.
I also if you're LeBron and you just played the Denver Nuggets, what on the Warriors tells you that you're going to be able to stop Jokic? I mean, Steph is amazing, but what is gonna
Steph, LeBron pick and roll?
I mean, defensively, how are you stopping Jokic? I mean, but then where could he? But that's
Okay.
AD, right? That's AD. I mean, now he doesn't have AD. He's got Draymond. He's got Trae Jackson Davis. Who's he got? You know what I mean?
I mean, some people would say if the Warriors played Trace more, they would have, won the title. But
my guy, by the way, that's my guy, baby. My guy, Jimmy.
what I was gonna say though is like, if I was to design a team to beat the Nuggets, yes, you need multiple players, but being able to run small ball lineup with Draymond and LeBron as your 4-5 probably can guard Jokic as well as anyone in the league, which isn't to say anything. He's still going to get his. But on the other end, D'Lo wasn't making Jokic work. The Steph being able to be like, oh, you want to guard Draymond? We'll go Steph Draymond. Oh, you want to guard LeBron? We'll go Steph LeBron. It's tough, Yeah. I agree with you. That's just one matchup. They still need to figure out like 4 defensive players and a bunch of other stuff. It's not as simple as that, but
I feel like it's a little easier logistically to get LeBron to the Warriors if he wants to play for the Warriors. I can't imagine.
All of this comes down to he has to be like, I'm gonna retire, or you're gonna take Kuminga. Your choice, Lakers. Your choice.
I gotta imagine. But then if I were the Lakers, I'd call that bluff. You're not retiring, dude. There's no chance. Like we know you want to run the. And then the other thing is like, is LeBron gonna do the farewell tour as a Warrior in a Warrior jersey? That's crazy. That's insane.
Can you imagine? So LeBron's birthday is the end of December. Can you imagine New Year's Eve, LeBron's 40th birthday party, Joe Lacob jumping out of a cake? Happy birthday, LeBron. It's
jumping out of a cake. Draymond's jumping out of that cake. You know that. Come on now.
Yeah. Steph sitting on the side. Yeah. You know how hated they would be? Like, they would be the corniest team on earth.
I
would not care. I'd roll. We just have to lean into it. That's what happens. Draymond's making the cake. Yeah.
I think LeBron has probably thought the scenario through. It's a matter of, I don't know, would Steph, it's not that would Steph allow it. Is Steph all in on this?
I think Steph after last season is, I think he's done with kids.
Yeah.
I kind of think part of the reason they're both into it is, how many times do you think those dudes have sat in locker rooms with 23-year-olds who have this inflated sense of themselves, and they're just looking at them like, who are you? What are you talking about? You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything in this league. Stop talking, I think we never talk about it, but Steph was fed up with Wiseman and the Wiseman thing. Like, just the whole like entitlement.
Well, wasn't even that. I mean, he was tired of Jordan Poole. I mean, it's not just
Kuminga too. It's like the whole like he's sitting here going like, I'm a 4-time champion. I put this franchise on the map, and you're putting so much effort into coddling dudes.
Baby and kids.
Nobody coddled me. You either want like, and Draymond thinks the same way, so much so that he punches dudes.
Yeah, well,
Draymond's
Draymond's not the right guy. Yeah,
and we know LeBron's that same way, because that's been the thing we've heard about him for years. We're just like indifferent. Like, I get it, man. Like, we're both over 30. How annoying is it to deal with someone who's like 10 years younger than you, thinks they know everything?
It's interesting as we are going to talk more about this, that Steph's, I think, always been more patient, and then LeBron's always been too impatient, you could argue. I think they're meeting right in the middle now. As they hit their 40s, I think they're meeting to the point where both guys are like
midlife crisis team.
No, I just think they've found a way to be at the same place where they end up where I think they agree on a lot of stuff that they used to, that they didn't know they would agree on, partly with the kid stuff. I think maybe even partly with the ball hand, like just with the way a roster is structured. I think they end up agreeing on more of that stuff now than before, even though they're completely different players. I just, as you can see with LeBron getting Russ, Steph wanting Chris Paul, just objectively terrible trades. We knew that, but those guys were just like, yeah, you know what? I want him. It's a vet. It's a guy that handles the ball. He's going to make life easier on me. It's like, guys, they're bad basketball players. They're not going to make life easier on you. So right, both terrible GMs. So I just think they are playing the Olympics together. They will be the two elder statesmen. They will be the Magic and Bird.
This shit needs to be decided before the Olympics. That much I know. So
does it?
Yes, it does. The Olympics is in July. Free agency is in end of June. So
they'll just hold up free agency like Shohei. They'll be like the Steph and they'll be LeBron. I mean, it would be so LeBron to hold up free agency just because of him. Like it would just make so much sense. But yeah, you're right. NBA is not the baseball, but anyway.
Let's pay a bill and let's get to the goons.
All right. We are brought to you by Unified. Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, like us, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by E-System, Energy Enhancement System. If you haven't heard of the E-System yet, listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Interested in experiencing the E-System for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/lightyears to learn more and find a center near you. That's unifiedhealing.com/lightyears. No material as testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
Let's go. All right, to the goons. Andy's.
Oh, let's go.
Mr. McWalters. What's up, man?
What's up, fellas? What's up? Time to get the trade machine rocking and rolling.
Let's do it.
I love it. Man, I want you guys to I like Bridges. Can the Nets move off of Bridges?
Yeah, I hear you.
Move the needle, but I mean, it's if you want someone more reliable than Wiggins that does what Wiggins does and plays defense.
I think they need more than that. I think in a world where Clay was better or Jordan Poole progressed, Bridges is perfect. But I think they need someone who, can give you 25 every night.
Well, the Nets, I would take Bridges over. I actually would take Bridges over Lowry and Ingram, but
same.
But I also don't know why same with Lowry. It has to the reason is why would they trade him? The thing with Ingram, it's it makes sense for them to trade Ingram. With Bridges, it's what do the Nets have that would make it so that they would have to trade Bridges unless Bridges asked out? I just don't see that. That's the only thing.
Yeah, unless you can dangle someone like Kuminga, dangle some picks. They're hoping that we just tank, right? And that we just fall into nothing, right? Here you go. Let's get a guy, right? I don't see BI helping us. I really don't. I see him being another Wiggins, where we're talking a year from now, going, "Hey, it's so great we got BI. He showed up for half the season." Right? Awesome. We re-experienced, except for we knew where he was because he was at the medic. Right, there won't be a where's Waldo.
Well, I mean that's an improvement from Wiggins where we don't know where he is. So
right, so psychologically as fans we're in a much better place, but I don't think as a team that puts us in any better position. He's not the type of defender that Wiggins is. So we take a step back on defense in order to take a slight step forward on offense. I just don't see it. I'd much rather look at Lowry, who at least can be productive on offense, and maybe we can hide his inefficiencies on defense with Draymond and TJG, right? And just cross our fingers and hope. But in that case, you really got to move off of Kuminga, because you can't play Kuminga and Lowry together.
Yeah,
not really, unless you're playing Lowry at the 5, and then you're not playing Draymond. So throwing Kuminga on the bench, you have to probably give up Kuminga to get Lowry in the first place. Right?
Yeah. So, for any of this to happen, Kuminga not going to be on the team anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, the main thing is we got to get out of this cap problem, right? We have to get out of it, or
this is a Joe Lacob problem. It's not Sam Spender or Andy Lee problem.
Or we have to be very, very comfortable with our team being
That's a
one
good
of the
point.
worst teams in basketball in 3 years. And as long as we're cool with that, hey, we're selling out for these next 2 years until Curry's contract's out. And then we were going to be so punished that we were going to be in the bottom of the league. And do we want that? Maybe we do. Maybe that's enough that we can get one more ring.
I think we're appreciate you, Mick Walters.
Much love. I mean, Walter got more angst than usual. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league when Steph retires, no matter what.
Regardless.
So my whole thing is like, just don't trade every pick in the future because you're going to need them. Because you're going to be in the lottery. You're going to suck. Gotta have some of that there.
It's too late, guys, to not suck when when Steph is retired. You guys had your chance. You had 3 lottery picks, and you missed on all of them. So you guys will suck when Steph is gone. Just deal with it. Go trade them all now, man.
It is what it is. You had your chance at your 2 timelines. It didn't happen. You're just going to be a normal team when your guy retires to the lottery. Going to be looking at some Cooper Flag film or whatever it may be. You know?
Yeah. Who's good in freaking 6 years? You guys had a chance. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm annoyed. You guys had your chance to realize the 2 timelines. It is nobody's fault but yourselves. You could have just drafted the right players. Not even gonna name names. Could have just drafted the right players. But you drafted none of the right players. 0. So.
Ebony, what's up?
Watching that rant from Andy just made my night. Forget the playoffs. That's the rant the world needs to see. Anyways, I guess I have a few questions. How much does KD move the needle if he does come home? Is number one, because I mean, we've seen like all the takes about super teams being dead. If he comes back to the Warriors, does he do anything on defense that's worth draining our assets, if that makes sense? So like, I mean, pretty much like the Suns are going to ask for like everything we got practically. And I don't think KD's worth that anymore at his age of like, what, I don't know, 30 something. It just makes the team old again next year, but somehow, so I'm just curious, like, does he move it that much? Obviously LeBron does, but does the Warriors want to give up everything for a 40-year-old next season? So I mean,
would you do it? Would you do it?
I mean, it would be worse than getting behind Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Like
worse, you're saying.
Yeah, I've been hating on LeBron for over a decade now, so yeah. I would definitely cry into my pillow if he put on a Warriors jersey.
How about
at
KD,
least
though?
for the first like night or two?
What about KD?
What about KD to your question?
It can't be just KD. Wow. It really can't. I watched him get cooked by Anthony Edwards. Wow. And I'm not even talking about the sweep. I'm just talking about like one-on-one matchups. Right? Where he like Anthony Edwards has the ball and he's just like KD just needs to move out of the way or he's going to get injured. So you're like watching that and you're like, okay, well, if it's Clay, Draymond, Steph, and KD, and I guess, I don't know, GP2 out on the floor, they're getting cooked. And I mean,
that's a great freaking point. It's a great point.
There's no defense. Like he was mad about the offense in Arizona, but it's like, dude, y'all can't play defense either. Like you have Nurkic, who is probably one of the funniest people on Twitter because he should have kept his mouth shut. Anyways, but like he's at the 5, and how much is he doing? So it's like, Draymond is obviously 10 times above that. But can KD guard the 4? Can he guard anything at this stage in his career? So that's kind of my pushback on Kevin coming home. But I mean, I'm all for it. I've been waiting for the ballad to drop for him to come back to the Bay. Yeah.
What's the song gonna be when Katie comes home?
I'm thinking something Celine Dion. You're here. Whatever the words are, I don't know.
It's great. By the way, it's a great song. It's an unbelievable. It's one of my favorite of all time. That would be. I don't.
Let me tell you how the KD return would go.
Please.
Joe Lacob's going to hit the mic. You're going to get super excited. Nobody is going to be in the lower bowl because he's not important enough. It's more important I get another drink than I watch KD come out to intros. And he's gonna be butthurt. He's gonna put the fucking towel around his face again, sit around saying no one appreciates him. Only this time, instead of winning 60 games, they're gonna win 44 games. You know, that's where we're gonna be at. Ebony, we appreciate you.
I had not thought about the defense stuff, which goes to show what matters in my head right now when I think about LeBron and KD. Just make it happen. I don't care about the legit. Just make it happen. I don't care about what it looks like on the court. She's right, though. I mean,
it
like,
is
right. Who's playing defense?
It is funny. Like LeBron's 4 years older than KD right now, and it's not even a question in either of our mind which one of them would be more of a serious basketball player to give this team any sort of chance. Like KD would make them better, and not even a question. But where are they going with that? You know what I mean? Where like that? Steph and KD, age 37, no one guarding anyone. Like they're just gonna get punked by a Wolves type team again. You know?
I think so, and that's not to say that LeBron's playing this amazing defense. Like Aaron Gordon, like was basically punking him on the rebounds, right? But it's just a different force of nature on those teams. Now, maybe you would say we saw the fit with Steph and KD offensively. Like KD's gonna get his. It's not like it's Beal, like they didn't have a point guard, stuff like that. So you can go down that rabbit hole and argue that, you know, with Draymond there, that he's gonna get better shot. But then it's like, but it's Draymond and KD. Like, do those guys even like each other anymore? I'm sure Draymond will make nice, and then you know what happens 20 games in. But is Moses Moody your best guy that gets 30 minutes a game? Podziemski, is he your best defensive player at that point?
They're both going off. I'm buying Podziemski and Moody stock if this happens.
I would as well. For sure. If they're not
Say
traded.
no to ball, don't stop.
Paratosh, what's up, man?
Yeah, I was just saying, say no to ball, don't stop. We don't need KD. I mean, like, did you guys see that article from Shams like 5 minutes after they lost that series?
No.
You could tell that KD was leaking information to him like all series long, and he was pissed off with Vogel. So, like, I don't think he'll be happy coming back anyway, because like he and Kerr at the end hated each other, or at least he hated Kerr for like I don't know, multiple of reasons, but yeah. But anyway, first of all, a happy hate watching week to all Warriors, because like our two best friends, LeBron and KD, will be joining Steph in Cancun. I couldn't be happier than that. So now I can watch the rest of the playoffs pretty like without any serious like fear, like any one of those two will win more rings. But so what I wanted to say is, did you guys also read that MT article about the available free agents or like available signings that Warriors could make? There was an interesting point there, like so obviously Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram, etc. are in play, and I feel like those guys are more in play also because of their contract situations, because like Warriors don't really have the best trade offer, like in terms of either the picks or like the kids that we have or like the young players that we have. So like unless it's like a contract that the other team also wants to move off of, it's going to be hard to get someone better than those guys. And honestly, I know people don't want to hear about LaVine or Wiggins, or LaVine or Brandon Ingram, but I do feel like that's our best bet, is to like rehabilitate an ex-star or an ex-athletic player who may not have played very good defense, but they have the defensive tools, they have the defensive upside. So like I can see Brandon Ingram becoming a good defender if taught by Draymond under the Warriors system, or the same with Zach LaVine, because like he can move, he's athletic enough, and he has, even with DeJounte, that was the third name that I had in mind. So I don't think, unless like Giannis or Embiid, etc., ask for a trade, and even if they do, they would have to specifically ask for a trade to the Warriors, which is what MT said. Like, we are getting any one of those. So like, I think this is the best we can do, and I don't honestly mind that, because I still think Steph can be the best player on the court in any series. So like, next to Steph, someone who can create his own shot and play good defense under the Warriors is still, I think, a winning strategy, even though we look like, I mean, like, that's basically what Jokic does, right? Like, Jokic is the best player, and then he elevates the others. Like, Jamal Murray looks like Jamal Murray because of the attention that Jokic gets. So, and just one last thing is, just one thing more. I just wanted to say, you guys have got it all wrong. We just need to draft Bronny to get LeBron. That's all. So.
Appreciate you, my man. I do agree with him. Like, we could talk about LeBron all day, and fuck it, we got a lot of time. We will. But the most likely scenario is what he's saying, which is the LaVine, the Ingram, not buying at the highest. You're like banking on the fact that they have talent, and you get them in the system, things will go well for you.
I'm on the Ingram. I'm on the LaVine train. That's the one where today's not LaVine.
More so than Ingram.
Yeah. And I think Paratosh makes one point I agree with. It's the physical traits. Can they actually play defense? Ingram, yes, for sure, because he's long and rangy. LaVine, same thing. He's not as long. Obviously, he's a guard, but he could still theoretically play better defense than he does. But offensively, he is a freaking. He can be a monster, especially if you're giving him the Steph like inflation. If you give LaVine Steph inflation, like he's averaging 30 points. Ingram with Steph inflation, like I don't know, maybe, but obviously he's better defensively. You want wings. Wings are better than guards. 9.5 out of 10 times. But in the LaVine contract stuff, but I think LaVine's a sure thing. I think you put him, he makes his team automatically that much better. Maybe we don't have to see Clay again if that happens. But we're not doing LaVine yet. Well, let's wait till June or something to do LaVine. But I'm in on that one.
We're gonna run short on content. We'll get to May 5th and do LaVine. All right, what's up, man?
Did I hear someone say LaVine?
Oh.
No, I just thought when I was kind of at the same point as Ebony, where it's like I was watching KD like this postseason and even during the season, and like I think obviously still a great player, and like I'm still a fan of his, just because like if you give a ligament trying to play in the finals for the Dubs, like how can you still not appreciate him for what he's done? So I guess my question is, like, outside of a guy in their prime like a Giannis or Embiid, would you rather do like trade all your assets for like a LeBron or KD, or try to get like two lesser players like a Murray and light years Hall of Famer Miles Turner? Like something obviously.
I like the question.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call. I'm all in on LeBron. I'm over. I've tried to be cute for like 5 fucking years on this one. I've done, how many pods have we done about Miles Turner, buddy? How many DeJounte Murray pods have we done? I'm over. It's like
enough.
At this point, you know what? Let the old guys be corny for 2 years together. Let's see if they can get a miracle run in them together. We're not talking about adding, a 20 Jokic in his prime, So
look, and the Warriors also don't want to make the mid-tier move. Like they're the ones that don't want to trade for DeJounte Murray. They're the ones that don't want to trade to Pascal Siakam. They don't want to trade for Miles Turner. They're like, look, man, these guys just aren't going to move the needle. I don't know. You could argue that they're wrong. Probably they're wrong, but that's why they do that LeBron trade in them. And like, dude, if LeBron was down to get traded and the Lakers were willing to do a trade and all that stuff, man, that trade would have been done at the deadline. The Warriors would have been in on that. It doesn't matter. But somebody wasn't down.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to be the villain, Andy Lou.
The Lakers obviously are not going to do that trade. What's up, Craig?
Karima, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up? It's been a minute, so I'm gonna make this short, but I have missed you guys, as
love.
well as the rest of the goons. I'll just say this: Murray is my pick. I don't even want to sniff LeBron shorts on our team. I despise him. So I think DeJounte Murray would be a good fit. And he's made an all defensive team before. So it's not like he is incapable of playing defense. So, you come to the Warriors, I think they can bring that out of him. And I do like Wendell Carter Jr. Wait, yeah, it's Junior, right?
Yep.
Correct.
And I think he would be a nice pickup too. I don't know if we could do it, but I'm all in for that, but not for the old dudes. The old dudes is old news now. Okay. So Sam, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. Do not succumb to any of this.
I'm a broken man. I'm a broken man.
A broken man is insane.
It's time. It's time. Karima,
No, don't do it. But thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys.
Oh,
Thanks, Karima.
It's time. It's time for
DeJounte Murray, though, is interesting.
Tech, bro. It's time for that first keynote at Dreamforce, introducing Millennium, not knowing who he is, none of the engineers in the crowd knowing either. But LeBron. Thank you.
I would imagine if he makes the move, he is going to be one of the most cringe Bay Area guys. Like he's going to be he's going to be he might be running for mayor talking about fixing San Francisco's problems 2 years from now. Just he's going to be out here politicking, talking about like what we need to do to clean up the streets. I can see it happening. Talking about
how fast is Newsom throwing up a tweet with a picture of him on the shop saying like so excited to have LeBron in my city. In 2 years, if San Francisco, if they change the Giants,
and LeBron might take credit for fixing SF. You know what I'm saying? Like he might take credit. I could see that happening. That is a man that knows how to play the media game. I could see that happening. That might be more important than the Warriors winning a championship. He's gonna fix my city. So you know what? I'm all in. It's like how SF's got what do they got coming up? They got the World Cup.
Gonna be walking through the Tenderloin with a video cam, being like, "This isn't right, guys. This isn't right." Like,
dude's walking out in Embarcadero. Man. It is a big couple years for this. I don't know how we ended up on this. Let's go. Next. Who's next? Nobody can fix the Giants rush. They're a fucking joke. It's disgusting.
LeBron's not teaching Matt Chapman how to see a breaking ball. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. That guy is you warned me. He's so bad at hitting.
What's up? It's a home run or a strikeout, my man.
No, ain't a home run.
It's more strikeouts than home runs.
It ain't a home run. It ain't a home run. I'll tell you that.
Ken, what's up, man?
I am all for Kevin Durant coming back to the Warriors. 100% in. I love it.
I knew that.
I like it.
I knew that. I thought you were gonna say LeBron, but KD, that makes sense too.
Well, I mean, I'd be okay with LeBron too, but it doesn't seem viable unless LeBron wants to take a veteran min. And
I think LeBron's more likely than KD.
You know what?
I gotta say.
I think that if KD decides to come to the Warriors, LeBron might decide to come too, because then they know that together they got a ring. Either way, LeBron's coming on a veteran minimum. That's all there is. I mean, can you imagine they like put rocking chairs next to the sidelines and blankets on their legs and just
Celebrini better get some rest because he's about to be putting in 100-hour weeks. Make this
pipes, a barber shop, and then they just get a bunch of rookies and they say, "Guys, get us to the playoffs."
Lester Quinones, you're playing 30 minutes a night
every night.
I need you diving for every loose ball because I can't have these guys doing it. They might break.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
it's funny.
The Durant thing, there's a lot of ways to think about it that makes sense. You know, it involves people eating shit, though. You know, Ishbia has to eat major shit and just go like, I screwed up. So, you know, I don't know a lot of billionaires that like to apologize, but he would need to apologize to the people of Phoenix. But on the other hand, it would get them, they could get draft picks. They could get Kuminga. There's a trade that makes sense. Kuminga, Peyton, Looney, those are both expiring contracts. And then they can take that Chris Paul contract and guarantee it for exactly how much they need and not a penny more. So they can actually really help Phoenix get out of their tax situation and restore their depth.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility. Ken, we appreciate you. Have a great evening, my man.
He's in a great mood.
We're all in a great mood.
I mute him myself. He's in a great mood.
I said we end it there. I think my takeaway, Andy, is the playoffs are going well. I do not know where the Warriors will land, but I do think they'll have options, which is kind of all I was hoping for.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
You're less optimistic than me.
I am optimistic. I am.
But
I am happy. I am. I just I think that they're going to sit and wait for LeBron. I really do. I think they don't care about Ingram. Can you agree with me on that? I think they don't care about Ingram. I think they'd be disgusted making that trade with themselves.
I think
it's a LeBron or bust offseason.
I think number 23 in LA will be the first domino to fall.
Yeah.
They're not going to like blow their load on something else until they know the answer there. So we'll end it there. Appreciate everyone. Have a great evening, guys. Subscribe,